as well. What's going on over at Hunter Sports Picks?
Well, I wanted to mention the free newsletter I have at huntersportspicks.com. I have had a lot of people take advantage of signing up for that free newsletter. Anybody that's listening that hasn't signed up, you can go to huntersportspicks.com, sign up for the free pick newsletter there in the top part of the page. I send at least one free pick every single week, usually two when it's football, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. 6-0, the last 6 free picks, and 74-39 run here on these free picks. So have been red hot on the free picks. If you haven't already signed up for that, please do so.
That is an awesome run. So everyone, please visit huntersportspicks.com and sign up for that free picks newsletter. Looks like a no-lose situation. Well, thanks a ton, Kyle. Really appreciate you coming on, my man. If you need anything, obviously, go ahead and tweet us at the OddsBreakers. If you want to follow Kyle on Twitter, at Kyle Hunter Picks. All right, it's time for the sharp side of the force. Basically, we go over sharp line movement. We do not discuss it unless there is at least a 20% difference between ticket counts and money, or a two-way action. And for totals, we don't discuss it unless it's over 30%. But anything that doesn't have value, for sure, I try to cover that as well. So let's get right into it. Temple hosting Cincinnati at 3.5. That was a big sharp side as Temple, as you can see with what Kyle talked about. Auburn versus Ole Miss went from -4 down to -2.5. So sharp side on Auburn. Dual action on Buffalo from -1.5 to -1.5 from +3. Florida Atlantic sharp from -3 to Pick'em at Marshall. Colorado at Washington to +15 from +17. Tennessee hosting Bama at +29. Coastal Carolina at UMass to +2.5 from +3.5. Missouri hosting Memphis went from -7 to -9.5. Cal from -7 to -7.5 at Oregon State. East Carolina +25.5 to +21 hosting Central Florida. I actually hit this one at +25.5. I couldn't even give it out in time, so I didn't even count it. It literally flew down to +22, and now it's at +21. So I could even give it out in time. I was probably on the road when I did it. Southern Miss -16 to -17.5 hosting University of Texas San Antonio. New Mexico from +16.5 down to +13.5 hosting Fresno State. There's over a 40% difference there from number of tickets and money. Old Dominion +5 down to +4.5 at Western Kentucky. People like Old Dominion. North Texas at UAB at +1. So North Texas taking some sharp money there. San Diego State -27 to -28 hosting San Jose State. Maybe San Jose State won't score there. I'm not sure. Sharp totals. Colorado State versus Boise State from 57 to 62. It's getting up there. Michigan versus Michigan State under from 47.5 to 41.5. Huge movement. No value for me there. I'd rather take the over at 41.5. Cincinnati versus Temple over 48.5. Utah versus Wyoming under from 55 down to 52. Still some value if you like that angle. Wyoming doesn't have a good offense at all, especially passing. Charlotte versus Middle Tennessee State under from 52 to 49.5, a 59% difference on that one. Pretty big. Middle Tennessee, I believe, has lost Stockstill, their quarterback. I believe so. Colorado versus Washington under 51.5. It's a 50% 50% ticket to money difference on that one as well. Minnesota versus Nebraska under 56, and that's a 55% difference between number of tickets and the money. So that's interesting because Nebraska's like undefeated on the over this year, and all the sharps are hitting the under here. Still people hitting the over. Personally, I'd hit the over. The way Nebraska plays, I wouldn't be taking that personally. Mississippi State versus LSU over 44.5. North Texas versus UAB from 52 to 54.5 over. Let's get into a few NFL plays. Going solo on this one. NFL, I like the New England versus the Chicago Bears here. There's nothing like a home dog, especially when the home dog has one of the top defenses in the league. Now, you got to be careful. It's New England, right? But Bears are still a top 3 sack defense, even though they didn't get a sack against Miami. And I'm giving them a pass for that game. It's like 100 degrees, went into overtime. 2 red zone turnovers, should have been TDs. They scored a TD and it was called back, and then from a penalty, then a touchdown happened. And also there was another turnover by Tariq Cohen. It was just brutal. Miami played very well though, and they played exactly how you beat the Bears. You 2-step drops, 3-step drops, 2 seconds to throw the ball. Brock Osweiler did that. He was very accurate. Got blocked. It's just the Bears have a very let's just say they attack so they can give up a huge play just to stop the short game. They press. They get to the quarterback quick, but if the quarterback gets rid of that ball, and sometimes the wide receiver only has 1 or 2 guys to juke, and he gets all the way down. So that's kind of the Bears' defense in a nutshell. But you have to get the ball off in order to beat this kind of defense. Now, they're also gassed, but from a net yards perspective, if you look at this game, Chicago has New England by 11 yards a game. I know Tom Brady has acquired more weapons. Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman is back, but I'm not sure if that's going to make up for the 3.5 points they're laying on the road. 3 to 3.5. It's going to be 3.5 by game time. So if it's at 3 right now, or if it's highly juiced at 3.5, I'd wait till before the game and all the Patriot money comes in. Thing might even get up to 4. This game's going to really depend a lot on free safety Adrian Amos over the top of Gronk. I think it's going to depend well on the pass rush getting to Brady. And I think you got to put a spy on James White. Like put Danny Trevathan on James White, because that can turn out ugly. If everyone drops back, Brady always has that dump off to White. Now, it's hard to do when you got 1 or 2 tight end sets, because 2 tight end sets dump off to the running back sometimes throw some people off. But I expect the Bears to be able to play this. So I like the 3.5. And I think the Bears, if they can cover Gronk and they can stop White, which they should see in practice, the plays to Tariq Cohen, they should be used to this. Vic Fangio should be able to spot this out. I think that the Bears win this one outright, actually. So I wouldn't mind a money line sprinkling here. Taking the Bears plus 3.5. The next play is Denver versus Arizona this Thursday. Arizona is given a point plus 1. Over-unders at 42. Well, this is an ugly game. Looking at how bad these offenses are, you would think to bet the under for sure. But when you look how bad these defenses are, then maybe you would think to bet the over. But both defenses are actually in the bottom 7 when it comes to total yards, with Denver giving up 402 and Arizona's defense giving up 394 yards per game. Now, one thing that's missing from these stats that we found for this handicap is the strength of schedule. Both teams have played some very good offenses. The Cardinals have played the Rams, the Seahawks, the Redskins, and the Vikings. teams that can score. While the Broncos have played the Seahawks, the Ravens, they're scoring more than normal. The Chiefs and the Rams. Both teams' opponents have averaged 6.1 yards per play on offense. That's well above the average. And it's a great stat. The offenses that they have played have averaged 6.1 yards per play. Okay? That's key to this handicap. The defenses are better than they've shown. The other key to this handicap is that both teams have a very banged up offensive lines. If you look at the injury report, these guys are highly questionable. Some aren't going to make it to the next game. The only way this game goes over is if these quarterbacks throw a bunch of pick sixes or turn the ball over, fumbles, or give up terrible field position or make stupid coaching decisions. I like the under. 42, one of my favorite plays this week. The teaser that I'm going to be giving out is Carolina and the Saints. Carolina plus 11 from plus 5 at the Eagles. And the Saints from plus 2 to plus 8 at the Ravens. Saints coming off a bye. I don't know the Saints to not be in games at the end of them. I feel pretty comfortable getting 8 points here with a guy that can score like Breeze. And as far as Carolina is concerned, they've had a pretty tough schedule. The Eagles, they're getting too much credit for playing those Giants like that. You know, the Giants have a terrible offensive line, which makes Eli Manning even worse than he has shown. They are getting way too much credit for this. The Eagles are a bit banged up as well. I know they got some guys back. Alshon, Carson Wentz is starting to gel. But as far as playing a, good stellar Carolina defense, when they have some offensive weapons like Funchess, DJ Moore, Greg Olsen, Christian McCaffrey, if Cam can just put it together, I think that they could even cover the 5 points. That's my other play I'm probably going to take is Carolina taking the points. But I really love the teaser. Carolina plus 11 and the Saints plus 8, my friends. If you have any questions about that, please tweet us at the OddsBreakers. Be looking for some free picks from our handicappers this week. Hockey's been rolling. NBA's been rolling. Just been loving it. And I hope you guys win some money this weekend and enjoy the game.